You land in Ho Chi Minh City wearing a jacket and immediately start sweating. 3 days later, you arrive in northern Vietnam and discover that your thin summer shirt is not enough. Then you reach central Vietnam where a sunny morning becomes heavy rain before dinner. Vietnam is one country, but packing for it like one climate is a mistake. In this video, I'll show you what to bring for northern, central, and southern Vietnam, how to pack for rain without carrying too much, and the items that first-time visitors usually forget. Vietnam looks narrow on a map, but it stretches a long distance from north to south. That geography creates several different weather patterns. Hanoi can feel cool and misty while Ho Chi Minh City remains hot. Central Vietnam can experience heavy rain while another region has clear skies. Sapa and Da Lat can feel surprisingly cool, even when coastal cities are warm. This means the correct question is not, what is the weather like in Vietnam? The better questions are, which region are you visiting? Which month are you traveling? Will you stay in cities, mountains, or beach areas? And will your trip cross more than one climate zone? Vietnam's tourism authority describes the country as having both tropical and temperate weather zones, with major differences between the north, center, south, and highlands. By the end of this guide, you will know how to build a practical packing list for a 7, 10, or 14-day Vietnam trip without filling your suitcase with things you never use. Before opening a weather application, look at your itinerary. A traveler spending 10 days in Ho Chi Minh City, the Mekong Delta, and Phu Quoc needs a very different suitcase from someone visiting Hanoi, Ha Long Bay, and Sapa in January. And a north to south itinerary needs more flexibility than a single city trip. Write down every overnight destination. Then place each destination into one of 4 categories: Northern Vietnam, Central Vietnam, Southern Vietnam, or a mountain and highland destination. Next, check the forecast for each city, not simply for Vietnam. Do this once about 1 week before departure, then check again 24 to 48 hours before each major transfer. Long-range weather forecasts are useful for general planning, but conditions can still change. The goal is not to predict every hour. The goal is to know whether your trip requires warm layers, serious rain preparation, light tropical clothing, or a combination of all 3. Northern Vietnam has the greatest seasonal change. Hanoi, Ha, Long Bay, and Ninh Binh can be hot and humid in summer, mild in autumn, and surprisingly cool in winter. From roughly December through March, Hanoi and Ha Long Bay may feel cool, cloudy, or misty. Late December through March can bring much lower temperatures than first-time visitors expect. Official tourism guidance notes that Hanoi can experience lows around 10 degrees Celsius during the colder period. That is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. For travelers coming from Canada or the northern United States, that may not sound extreme. But there is an important difference. Some buildings are designed more for warm weather than winter. You may spend time in spaces without the strong central heating you expect at home. Cool air combined with dampness can feel colder than the number suggests. For winter travel in Hanoi, Ninh Binh, or Ha Long Bay, pack 1 warm mid-layer, 1 light wind-resistant jacket, long pants, closed walking shoes, and several pairs of socks. You probably do not need a heavy expedition coat for central Hanoi, but you should not arrive with only shorts and thin t-shirts. From June through August, the north becomes hot, humid, and rainy. At that time, prioritize light, breathable fabrics, sun protection, and rain gear. September through November is often more comfortable, but you should still carry a light layer for evenings or air-conditioned transportation. Northern Vietnam's conditions vary from cool and misty in winter to hot, humid, and rainy in summer. Sapa and the Northern Mountains. Sapa is not simply a cooler version of Hanoi. It is a mountain destination. During winter, it can become genuinely cold, foggy, and wet. Official Vietnam tourism information notes that Sapa is considerably cooler from late December through March and can occasionally experience snowfall in January. For a winter mountain trip, add a warmer insulated jacket, a thermal or long-sleeve base layer, warm socks, a beanie, a compact rain shell, and shoes with reliable grip. If you plan to trek, avoid packing only smooth city sneakers. Trails can become muddy after rain. A lightweight hiking shoe or trail shoe is usually more practical than a heavy mountaineering boot for ordinary tourist routes. The key is grip, comfort, and the ability to dry. Central Vietnam is where many travelers make weather assumptions that do not work. Da Nang, Hoi An, and Hue sit relatively close together, but their conditions can still vary by season. For much of the first half of the year, central Vietnam can be sunny and hot. During the later months, rainfall becomes a much bigger consideration. Hu's wetter period commonly extends from around September into February, with flooding possible during parts of the autumn. Hoi An typically sees heavier rain from approximately September into January. Da Nang's tourism guidance identifies November through February as its rainier period, while June through August often brings clearer beach conditions. This does not mean it rains every minute for several months, it means your itinerary needs flexibility. A sunny morning does not guarantee a dry evening. If you're visiting central Vietnam during a wetter month, pack a lightweight waterproof shell, a compact umbrella, quick drying clothes, sandals, or shoes that tolerate water, a waterproof pouch for your passport and electronics, and at least one spare outfit kept dry at the hotel. Do not rely only on a disposable poncho. Ponchos are convenient and widely available, but they can tear, trap heat, and provide limited protection in wind. A compact shell is useful when rain lasts longer. For Hoi An, avoid footwear that becomes extremely slippery on wet stone. The old town can become slick during rain. For Hue, remember that you may spend extended time outdoors at the Imperial City, tombs, and pagoda. A light rain layer is often more useful than a heavy umbrella when you need both hands free. For beach travel in Da Nang, still bring sun protection even in a period with occasional rain. Cloud cover does not mean you cannot burn. Southern Vietnam is simpler in one way. It is generally warm throughout the year. Ho Chi Minh City and the Mekong Delta are more accurately described as hot and dry or hot and rainy. From approximately December to April, conditions are often drier and sunnier. From around May to November, rainfall becomes more frequent. A typical wet season day may begin with sun and heat, followed by a strong afternoon downpour. The rain can be intense, but it does not always continue for the entire day. Ho Chi Minh City remains warm year-round, with hotter conditions around April and May and a wetter period from May through November. For southern Vietnam, prioritize lightweight breathable shirts, quick-drying shorts or pants, a compact umbrella or rain shell, a hat, sunscreen, insect repellent, and footwear that can handle wet streets. Cotton can feel comfortable when dry, but thick cotton holds moisture. For long walking days, lightweight linen blends or quick-dry travel fabrics may feel better. Official Vietnam tourism guidance also recommends breathable clothing, sunscreen, insect repellent, and a compact umbrella for southern Vietnam. Phu Quoc and island travel do not assume that every tropical island day will have perfect beach weather. Phu Quoc generally has clearer conditions through much of the period from October to June, while July through September can be stormier and wetter. Rough weather may affect beaches, boats, and ferries. For island travel, pack a secure dry bag, water-resistant sandals, a lightweight cover-up. Swimwear, a sun hat, and a small amount of motion sickness preparation if that is something you normally use. Never place your passport, wallet, and unprotected phone together inside one beach bag. Separate your important items into waterproof pouches. Dalat often surprises travelers because it can feel much cooler than Ho Chi Minh City. The city's elevation gives it a milder climate. Even when southern Vietnam is hot, Dalat mornings and evenings may require a light jacket. Its wetter season generally runs from approximately April through October, while the drier period is usually from November through May. For Dalat, add one sweater or fleece, long pants, closed shoes, and a light rain shell. Do not arrive with a suitcase designed entirely for the beach. If you are traveling by motorbike or open vehicle in the early morning, the moving air can feel significantly cooler. Many travelers hear the words rainy season and imagine constant rain from morning until night. That is not always what happens. Rain patterns depend on the region and the specific weather system. In southern Vietnam, the rain may arrive as a strong afternoon storm. In central Vietnam, some wet periods can bring longer rainfall and localized flooding. In northern mountain areas, rain may affect trails and visibility. The correct response is not automatically to cancel. The correct response is to build flexibility into the itinerary. During wetter months, avoid placing your only important outdoor activity on your final day. Keep one flexible indoor option available. Check conditions before boat trips, mountain tours, and long road transfers, and allow extra travel time. Floods, flash floods, landslides, and typhoons can disrupt flights, trains, roads, boats, electricity, and communications. Severe weather risk is generally higher during the rainy period, often from June through November, with coastal areas of northern and central Vietnam more exposed to typhoons. When severe weather is forecast, Follow local instructions. Do not travel into an affected area simply because the hotel is already booked. Contact your transport provider and accommodation. Plans can be replaced, safety cannot. For a multi-region Vietnam trip, do not pack separate wardrobes for every destination. Use a simple 3-layer system. Layer 1, the daily base. This is what you wear most days. A breathable t-shirt or shirt, light shorts or travel pants, comfortable underwear, and walking shoes or sandals. Layer 2, the warm layer. Bring one sweater, fleece, or lightweight insulated jacket. You may use it in northern Vietnam during winter, in Sapa or Da Leton, cold trains and buses, inside strongly air-conditioned airports, or during early morning departures. Layer 3, the weather shell. Bring one lightweight rain and wind shell. It should fit over your base and warm layer. This gives you several combinations without carrying several large jackets. On a hot rainy day, wear the shell over a t-shirt. On a cold damp day, combine all three. For many itineraries, this is enough. A common mistake is packing one complete outfit for every day. That makes sense for a short weekend. It becomes inefficient on a 10 or 14-day trip. Your actual number depends on how often you plan to wash clothing, but a practical starting point for many travelers is 4 to 6 lightweight tops, 2 or 3 pairs of shorts or light pants, 1 pair of long pants suitable for temples and cooler weather, 1 modest long sleeve shirt, 1 warm layer, 1 rain shell, 1 set of sleepwear, 1 or 2 swimsuits, enough underwear and socks for several days, and 1 slightly smarter outfit for a restaurant, rooftop bar, or special evening. For 7 days, this may cover most of the trip without washing. For 10 days, plan 1 laundry session. For 14 days, plan to wash clothing at least once or twice rather than doubling the suitcase. The aim is not to own 14 outfits. The aim is to create combinations, choose colors that work together. A shirt should match more than 1 pair of pants. Your warm layer should work with your city clothes and your mountain clothes. Your rain shell should fit over everything. Shoes take up space, so every pair needs a purpose. For most first-time Vietnam itineraries, 2 pairs are enough. Pair 1, comfortable walking shoes. Use these for cities, airports, train stations, long sightseeing days, and cooler weather. They should already be broken in before the trip. Do not begin a 12,000-step day in brand new shoes. Pair 2, sandals or water-friendly shoes. Use these for hot days, beach areas, short casual walks, hotel showers when necessary, and wet conditions. Avoid bringing only flip-flops. They are fine for beaches and short trips, but they provide little protection or support for long urban walking days. For trekking, replace the ordinary walking shoe with a light trail shoe. You probably do not need 3 pairs of formal shoes, hiking boots, and 2 pairs of sneakers. Shoes are one of the easiest ways to overload a suitcase. Vietnam cities are modern and everyday clothing can be casual. However, religious and traditional sites deserve more consideration. For temples and pagodas, choose modest clothing. Carry a lightweight scarf, sarong, or overshirt that can cover your shoulders. Wear shorts, a skirt, or pants that provide appropriate coverage. At some spaces, you may also need to remove your shoes and hat. Official tourism etiquette guidance advises modest clothing and removing shoes and hats when entering temples. A thin scarf or sarong is one of the most useful items in your luggage. It can become a temple cover, a sun shield, a light blanket on a bus, a beach cover-up, or extra protection inside an air-conditioned train. Heat becomes harder when combined with humidity. A temperature that feels manageable at home may feel more tiring after several hours of walking through traffic and direct sun pack. A breathable hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, a refillable water bottle, a small towel or handkerchief, and electrolyte products if you already use them safely. Begin outdoor sightseeing earlier in the morning when possible. Take breaks indoors during the hottest period. Do not wait until you feel exhausted before drinking water. Light clothing should still provide some sun coverage. A thin, long-sleeve shirt can sometimes feel better than constant direct sunlight on the skin. Your rain kit should be accessible. Do not place your umbrella and rain shell at the bottom of a locked suitcase during a travel day. Keep them in the top of your backpack. A practical rain kit includes a compact umbrella, a lightweight shell, a waterproof phone pouch, a separate dry pouch for documents, and 1 reusable plastic or waterproof bag for wet clothing. Keep your passport in a waterproof bag, especially during severe weather periods or boat journeys. Official travel advice specifically recommends carrying passports in waterproof protection during natural disasters and severe weather. After a heavy rain, do not immediately place soaked clothing inside your closed suitcase. Allow it to dry whenever possible. Wet clothing sealed inside luggage can create odor and affect everything around it. Weather preparation also protects your electronics. Pack a compact power bank, charging cables, a universal travel adapter, a waterproof phone pouch, and a small document folder. Store offline copies of your passport identification page, visa or entry documents, insurance details, hotel addresses, transport tickets, and emergency contacts. Do not keep every important document only inside one phone. A dead battery, broken screen, or water damage should not remove access to your entire trip. Keep one digital copy and one separate backup. You do not need to bring your entire bathroom. You do not need a large umbrella for every traveler. You do not need a heavy coat for southern Vietnam. You do not need 7 pairs of shoes. You do not need multiple large towels unless your accommodation specifically does not provide them. And you do not need to carry every possible just-in-case item. Ask 3 questions. Will I definitely use this? Can one item perform the same job? And would replacing this in Vietnam be easier than carrying it for 2 weeks? Prioritize items that are difficult to replace because of size, fit, prescription, or personal preference. Reduce items that are bulky, generic, or easily substituted. For Ho Chi Minh City and the Mekong Delta, 4 or 5 light tops, 2 shorts, 1 light pair of long pants, 1 modest overshirt. Walking shoes, sandals, rain shell, or umbrella. Swimwear if needed, sun hat, sunscreen, insect repellent, no heavy winter jacket. Scenario 2, 10 days from Hanoi to central Vietnam. For Hanoi, Ninh, Binh, Hue, Da Nang and Hoi An, 5 light tops, 2 light bottoms, 1 long pair of pants, 1 sweater or fleece, 1 rain shell, walking shoes, water-friendly sandals, a temple scarf or cover. Check the month carefully because both northern and central conditions may change. Scenario 3, northern Vietnam in winter. For Hanoi, Ha Long Bay and Sapa, long pants, long sleeve base layers, a fleece or sweater, an insulated jacket for mountain areas, rain and wind protection, warm socks, closed shoes with grip, a beanie for colder mountain mornings. Do not rely on a thin hoodie as your only warm layer in Sapa. Scenario 4, 14 days from north to south. For Hanoi, central Vietnam, and Ho Chi Minh City, use the full 3-layer system. Pack lightweight summer clothes as the base. Add 1 warm layer, add 1 rain shell, bring 2 practical pairs of shoes, carry a scarf or sarong plan to wash clothes during the trip. This gives you flexibility without requiring a large wardrobe for every region. The night before departure, do one final check. Look at the forecast for your first city. Confirm the forecast for your next major region. Place the rain shell and umbrella where you can reach them. Charge the power bank. Save your documents offline. Move prescription items into your carry-on. Check that your walking shoes are comfortable. Confirm that your warm layer is not inside checked luggage if you will need it immediately after landing. Weigh the suitcase. Then remove one item you included only because you were nervous. A slightly lighter suitcase makes airports, stairs, trains, sidewalks, and hotel changes easier. Let's simplify the entire guide. For southern Vietnam, pack for heat, sun, and sudden rain. For northern Vietnam, check the season and bring real warm layers during winter. For Sapa and mountain destinations, prepare for colder air, fog, rain, and slippery ground. For central Vietnam, pay close attention to the month and keep your itinerary flexible during the wetter season. For Da Lat, bring a light jacket even when the rest of southern Vietnam is hot. Use breathable base clothing, add 1 warm layer. Add 1 rain shell, bring 1 reliable walking shoe and 1 water-friendly option. Carry modest coverage for temples. Protect your passport and electronics from rain. And check the forecast for every destination, not just for the country. Packing for Vietnam is not about preparing for every possible situation. It is about preparing for the route you actually plan to travel. A smart suitcase should handle heat in Ho Chi Minh City, rain in Hoi An, cool evenings in Da Lat, and winter mornings in Hanoi without becoming too heavy to move. Pack light enough to travel comfortably, pack flexible enough to handle changing weather, and leave enough space for something you find along the way. Subscribe to Real Talk Vietnam for practical, honest, and step-by-step guides for your first trip. This is Real Talk Vietnam. Know Vietnam before you go.